This is our ninth Justice and Memory Team meeting. Today we will hold our meeting, and this is about Lennon Towns. This Justice and Memory Team has been talking about avenues to atonement. So we will continue to discuss avenues of atonement in this meeting, but we will start the meeting today with as we always do, with a moment of silence for the deceased members. Thank you. We have a new person today. So Crystal, I will let you go ahead and introduce him. Everybody else is regular. But if everybody wants to introduce themselves, that's fine with me. But I'm Hattie Thomas Whitehead.
Thank you, Ms. Hattie.
Bobby Crook.
Linda Thomas.
Charlene is on. She might be she's in traffic.
Okay, I'll introduce myself. I'm Charlene Marsh.
Okay.
Ms. Hattie, you wanted to be sure to take a moment to introduce our new Assistant City Manager, Nikki Jones.
Go ahead, Crystal.
Nikki Jones, would you be Assistant Manager? Nikki Jones, would you be willing to introduce yourself briefly?
Of course. Good evening. Thanks for having me here. My name is Nikki Jones, as Crystal has said. I'm new to Athens-Clarke County. I've been here for about 3 weeks at this point in time. I come by way of North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. Most recently, I worked for the town of Wendell as a planning director, but I have experience in community development, affordable housing, economic development. Just look forward to working with you all, and I know that we'll do some great things in the future.
Welcome.
Okay. All right.
And I know Blaine is on. Blaine?
Yes, ma'am. Blaine Williams, Manager, Athens-Clarke County Unified Government. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Linda, when you have something to say, just acknowledge your name. So since you are on the phone, okay?
Okay.
Okay. I just want to, before we get started, I just want to talk briefly about the work that has been going on to increase the Athens-Clarke County employees that works for Athens-Clarke County wage increase. So work has been going on to increase the hourly wage up to $15 to $20. But that was a vote that took place, and it will start soon. I'm not sure of the date, but I thought this was such a great information, and it's going to be very impactful in a positive way for a number of Athens-Clarke County employees. And it's such positive information that I thought a press release needed to come forward from this team or to someone about this positive information. This is good information. And it's such a positive step. And it's going to impact Athens-Clarke County employees in a positive way. So I just think a press release is due. But I turn the floor. It's for discussion, or I'll let everybody discuss it and see where everybody else is.
Heck yeah, I agree. Is that in process or something that needs to be developed by the committee, or how would
I don't think anything like this has been done before. As far as just coming out from usually papers say stuff to what has happened, but I don't think anything ever come out from I've never seen anything that come out from a team before to say or congratulating the efforts of groups whomever, to say that
But I can't hear.
in this effort has been voted on, it has been improved, and it's going to be effective on this day, that the Athens-Clarke County employees will get $15 an hour wage increase. Am I correct? Blaine, do you know of anything? I hate to call on you, but I don't.
Well, no, I mean, if you're asking me if I know of anything that's been in the paper, yeah, there was a headline that mentioned that, you know, that we would begin with a sort of living wage for all of our employees. So that it has been in the paper here. I'm not, you know, it was just reported on by a reporter of something that happened. It wasn't an official press release or anything. And I would say too, and Miss Hattie, like we talked about, I mean, I think that this, we tell our people this all the time. You got to celebrate the small wins and big wins alike. You know, you know, I mean, ultimately, the mayor and commission made the decision. You know, did your input weigh into that? Probably. You know, did other things that their concerns and what they heard from their constituents outside of this group, did that weigh into it? Probably.
Probably.
So I would just say that I'll be careful taking credit for it. You know, you know, so it's just a political thing, you know. But as staff, you know, we're here and our, you know, non-voting members, and you know, the commission made the decision, so I guess they kind of own that decision at this point.
Well, where I was coming from, Rick, I was just thinking that for all involved, whether it's commissioners, you know, whomever was involved in getting to the point of a wage increase, I think that it ought to be acknowledged, and you know, just to let everybody know that this has happened. It's finally happened, and we ought to feel good about it. The clock, you know, the commissioner, the mayor, the residents, whoever had input. I wasn't thinking about solely from the Justice and Memory team. I'm just saying that whomever had input, we ought to be able to celebrate, but we ought to do it in a way where we can say that this has happened, and it's going to impact people's lives, and it's going to impact people's lives in a positive way. But I don't know. I know this is something different. We have nothing like this has done before, just reported on by a reporter. But I think that when something is done that impacts people's lives positively, there ought to be a thank you going out to who all was involved to make it happen. But I'm the only one talking, so I guess we can move on. Okay, we'll just table that and move forward. But anyway, I want to say thank you to everybody who was involved in moving everybody forward, all committees, everybody involved, everybody who had a voice in getting the pay increase up to $15 an hour for the Athens-Clarke County employees. Okay.
Hey, Miss Hattie, I have a question.
Yes.
So if we were to decide to move forward with drafting a press release, like how would that process go? Is that something that members have to vote on, or what does that process look like?
Since everybody has been so silent, I just thought that we maybe just need to figure out how to move forward and talk about things that are positive, that are affecting the community positively, without having it being coming from a reporter, for whomever is involved. I don't think we have that, or we don't have that in place yet, but that's something that we need to look at. Charlene, what do you think?
Yeah, I personally am in support of drafting and releasing some type of a press release. And I know that Blaine said that, like, obviously the committee cannot take credit for that, of course, but I think it's still very relevant to, like, the goals and the purpose of this group and one of the recommendations that we discussed earlier on. So even if it's not saying that the Justice and Memory team was responsible for this, like, it's something that we celebrate and want the rest of the community to be aware of. So I'm in support of it. So whatever we have to do to get that done.
When is it? Does anybody know when the when it's effective date of the increase?
July 1st. Well, let me take that back. I think that HR had to look into, you know, how to do it. So one of the issues with instantly rate, this is something that was debated a great deal with the mayor and commission, is, you know, if you just say everybody's going to make X amount and we've got a system of graded positions, then you're going to bring people close together. And you might say, well, that's not a big deal in creating some compression because, you know, we've got we're paying people more, but the folks that are doing a job that before warranted more money, but, you know, now people are doing a job that didn't warrant as much money or making as much, then we're going to hear about that. So there was, I think, maybe a little bit of time to look at how to phase that in, but not very long. So it'll be not long after July 1st. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay. Well, Charlene, would you just go ahead and just draft something and we can just maybe talk about it and trying to see how we can talk about something that's positive, but yet still not coming from a reporter. I mean, this is, to me, this is good news. And it's going to affect a lot of people's lives positively. And I don't know how to do this, but this team is this team is always involved in things that we really don't know how to do, but we sort of come together and figure it out. So just go ahead and Charlene, draft something and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay. And if anyone would like to help out with that, please let me know.
Okay. All right then. Jen, if you want to talk about the walk of recognition.
Yes, hi everybody. Good to see you all. I'm excited to provide an update on what we've been doing. So I'll say more about this in a second, but we are calling this the walk of recognition. So this is the concept that has been developed and approved by this committee over the past several months. And so we're in the implementation phase. So the walk of recognition, as a reminder, it's one concept. It's a multi-sided, multi-point set of both historical informational signs and then an artistic piece. Again, I'll say a teeny bit more in a second. So that's one concept is the walk of recognition. It will be located primarily along Finley Street, south of Baxter, down, I'm not good at estimating lengths, but to about where Cloverhurst comes in. So that's the concept. It's the walk of recognition. It includes two components that I, as the subcommittee chair, am implementing in my mind. They're kind of separate. It's one concept, but I'm implementing this in two stages or with two different sets. So one is, like I mentioned, 3 historical informational signs that will be located at various points. They'll capture aspects of what life was like in the neighborhood, talk about people who live there, talk about the history, the culture, have images, text. If we can get it going, we'll have like interactive technology. So there's 3 historical informational points on the walk of recognition. Then there is the artistic installation. And we're now officially have a plan we approved on this committee. It is a mosaic. It is a community generated mosaic. So I'm going to update you on both of these pieces today. But does that make sense in terms, I know we've talked about this in kind of little sections. I think it's helpful every time we get together to remind we have one concept, the walk of recognition, 3 historical signs, 1 artistic piece. Are there any questions from anyone here about the general concept? Good. Okay. So I can briefly just say the 3 historical signs are require us to get a professional firm that can develop those signs, design them, and build them and install them. So that is a separate process that we will have to do a call for proposals to get those design firms involved. That has not yet started. I'm hoping to get that started soon. I'll be relying on my subcommittee to help, along with our wonderful, wonderful support staff from the city, who's been great. We will be developing what that RFP, that request for proposals, should include, and identifying a design firm, which I've learned are called interpretive graphic designers. It sounds like a very cool job that I wish I'd known about 20 years ago. So we'll be looking for a firm that can help us design and install those signs, and there will be a significant community input component. So that's one piece. Then on the mosaic piece, which you'll recall is going to be done in partnership with an art professor at UGA and her classes, Lynn Saunders Bussell. And it's a public art piece, which is Lynn's expertise, has experience. Lynn has done one of these mosaics before. They're community generated from start to finish. The concept, the actual pieces of the mosaic, and even installing the mosaic. It's so exciting. Every time I get to describe it, I'm still excited. So we're in that process. Obviously, I'm here as a citizen, but I'm also a teacher at UGA. So I am involved in helping Lynn design these classes and will be involved in sort of being the liaison between the city and the classes in my role on this committee. So a couple quick updates, then I'll stop talking. One is we're working with the Inclusion Office to have an Inclusion Fellow be part of the mosaic process. We're really excited about this. I'm so appreciative to Crystal and everyone at the Office of Inclusion who has helped generate this collaboration. Well, we're hoping to bring on one of the Inclusion Fellows would be working specifically on the Lennon Walk of Recognition, and in particular, the Mosaic Public Art Project. Super exciting. Then we have some existing funds that we're purchasing some supplies right now as we speak. Fiscal year's coming to an end. So we are in the process of having the artist, Lynn Saunders Bussell, identify absolutely necessary supplies that will be held until they're ready to be used. And last but not least, and I'll take questions, is we're working with TPW, Transportation and Public Works, to identify potential sites for each of the points along the Walk of Recognition. So you'll be getting emails from me on the subcommittee. We're meeting in a couple weeks. I can't remember the exact date, but to walk through the actual streets over there to determine the city-owned property that would be acceptable and appropriate and approved to host the multiple points. So that's where we are. I'm just taking all implementation step by step, and those are the updates I have today. So I'm happy to take any questions.
I don't have any questions. Good job.
We're getting there. It's taken, it takes time, but we're getting there, slow and steady.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to thank you, Jen, for your work and direction and all the work that has gone you have put into this. Thank you, and we've talked about it for a long time, but it's slowly become a reality work. Get ready to start. So thank you for that.
It's really exciting to see concrete steps to we're going to have this thing, and it's just going to be really a great experience and a collective community driven project. And I'm happy to do whatever I can to keep it moving forward. So.
Okay, good. And when will so we probably going to start in July, August, and finish up the next year, or what? Give us a time.
If everything goes well, we're hoping to have approximately a year. So it's the actual, there's the conception stage with the students in the community. What is the mosaic going to be? Where is it going to be? How's it going to be constructed? Then there's the actual creation of the materials. We have to make, and we're going to do that with students in the school district. We're going to do it with residents. And then there's actually sort of installing the materials on site. And then the cool part is then the way Dr. Bussell has done it before, the community comes out and participates in the actual installation of the mosaic pieces if they want. So we're hoping to be doing the installation next summer after all the concept design and making of materials.
Great. Looking forward to it.
Yay, I'm excited. Thank you all. And I can take questions anytime about it. I'll just update you guys every month.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to the, if nobody have any questions, I'm going to move on to the Black History Center. We have, this committee has asked for the first floor of the Costa building to house a Black History Center initially. And so that's what I have been working on, and hopefully it will be voted on that we will be able to get the first floor of the Costa building initially for the Black History Centers to start. And I am assembling a board to start doing this work, and the chairperson or a project manager for this, a community outreach person to get feedback from the community, a public historian, someone to raise funds, and a strategist. I will be putting all of this information, and maybe we can talk about it more in detail once the vote has taken place next month. Any questions about this? No questions? Okay. Moving on. Shayla, will you share the flyer for the quilt project, the Leonardtown Quilt Project? We have a class at University of Georgia art student who's going to work on a quilt. It's going to be a Leonardtown quilt. And what they have sent out this flyer that they want all of us, the Justice and Memory Team, and the Justice and Memory Team members, all to play a part in one of the one of the patches that will go, one of the quilt parts that would go in the big quilt. So what they want to do is they're going to have 2 Saturdays in July where you can come over and actually from 10 to 12 to work on a quilt square. If you have children or grandchildren or neighbors that want to come over to put a square together to go in the big quilt, they will have all the supplies. All you have to do is come over and work on the quilt. And if you don't want to come over, they will mail you a square. And you can mail it back. And that's the purpose of this. And they are going to put this quilt together, and then they're going to display it on certain parts of the campus at UGA. And they're going to have people there to answer questions about the quilt. And it's really, really, really neat. But they want all of us to be involved. Either come in on the campus on the 10th and the July the 10th or July the 24th from 10 to 12. And the information is on the flyer. There it is. Information is on the flyer. So we're going to be talking about this because we want us to come out either to pick up your quilt square or to be mailed to you so they can sew it into the final big quilt. Like I say, if you have children or grandchildren or neighbors to work on the square, the quilt square, that's fine. If you want to be mailed to you, they'll put it in the mail to you and we can get it back. But they just want this to be a nice, beautiful quilt. Any questions?
I was just going to say I've had the privilege of just seeing some of the beginning quilt squares that the students are working on, and they're really, really neat, and it's a cool project. And I do hope people from the community who are watching this and hopefully get more information through advertising will come. It is at the School of Art. If you are okay, if you feel comfortable coming in person, there's parking on Saturdays available within a short walk of the School of Art. You pop right in. The studio space is there, and it's really, really a cool thing. And I will also just clarify and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. this is totally a UGA student
Yes.
project. While we're involved in advertising and supporting it on this committee, this is a UGA student separate project than any of the other things we've discussed in this committee.
Yes, it's totally UGA financed by the students over there as well. They will have tables set up outside the building, or you can come inside the building. So you can, if you're comfortable keeping your kids outside on tables, they will set up outside as well as coming on the inside. I have been over there, been on this space, talked to the students. They're all fired up, ready to go to work, and ready to help those of us who are not as gifted in art. But but the goal is to get your kids, your grandchildren, or someone to work on one square.
Okay.
That's going to be in part go down in history in this quilt.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I was concerned about how are we going to do outreach for everybody that has descendants in another town? How do we reach out to them?
Bobby's going to take care of that. He's going to take care of that. He's volunteered to do that, right, Bobby?
That's correct.
Okay.
And he have everybody
He has,
from another town.
yeah. He has the all the information of the descendants in the resolution. Yes. But if you have any suggestions, you can get with Bobby, Linda.
Oh no, I'm through with it. No, I was just asking a question. That's all.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was just asking a question.
Okay.
I'm through with it.
Okay.
Okay. Bobby said he was going to take care of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else? Linda, Bobby, Jennifer, Charlene?
No, not at the immediate.
Anybody else
No.
have questions? Okay, if not, I'm just going to go ahead and join the meeting.
Thank you all. Nice
Thank
to see you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Everyone. All right.
Bye.
Be safe. Mhm.